Nerd Rage Renegades.
Everyone, welcome to Renegade Reviews. These are your comic book reviews for New Comic Book Day on June 6th. June 6th, New Comic Book Day. You're listening to this after that. So you've had time to go to the store, get your books, and now you can listen to our thoughts on those books. We got three publishers we talk about on this show. We got IDW, Boom, and of course DC Comics, as always. Let's go ahead. Let's start with Boom. Because I read Power Rangers, and Chief, you read Power Rangers.
I did, and once again, I'm jumping in the middle of a story, but it's actually pretty good. It seems like it's kind of a mix of like the campiness of the TV show, but then they tried to kind of serious it up a little bit. Because I mean, some of it gets like the other Pink Ranger threatening to pull all the wires out of the robots.
Yeah.
just to watch it die. Like that was pretty hardcore.
So this is another continuation of the Shattered Grid storyline, which is currently going on in Power Rangers. And basically what's been going on is there is a character who is like another world Tommy Oliver called Lord Draken. And he's been messing with the timeline. Now, Go-Go Power Rangers is, in my personal opinion, it's kind of like, I think I akin to this last time we talked about the book, like at Archie there used to be Sonic, and then there was Sonic Universe. And Sonic Universe was still stories within that main continuity. They were just kind of like side stories in the main continuity. And that's kind of what Go-Go Power Rangers is for me. So you have, carrying off from, this is issue number 10, with Ryan Parrott doing the writing, Dan Mora doing the illustrations, Raul Angula with colors, letters by Ed Dirkshire, and first of all, once again, kudos to Dan Mora. His art is so good, and I love the little things he puts into the characters, like Trini's yellow hair, the way that he draws these characters. I really, really enjoy his art on this. So, a couple things going on in this book. You got some stuff with Bulk and Kimberly. You have some stuff going on with Jason's dad and his illness. And then, of course, the Rangers having to fight this huge Megazord, which is a Megazord compiled of dead Zords.
Yeah, the Grave Zord, I think they call it.
Yeah. And then, of course, the evil Kimberly, who's a Kimberly from one of these alternate dimensions of Rangers throughout the grid, breaks into the Ranger headquarters and just goes ape shit or ape crap and dismantles Alpha quite a bit.
Yeah, that's why I thought like this it takes a real dark turn right at that point. That book,
which I like. Yeah. I really like that they take them in a more darker tone, but it's not like they did it better here than they did in the new live action Power Rangers, where they tried to be more edgy and dark. This is done right.
Yeah, but then like the very next page though, then you get like what I was talking about. You get like some of like the campiness in the dialogue from like the TV show. Mm-hmm. Like you get Rita Repulsa, whatever her name is.
Yeah.
Like up here in the satellite above Earth or whatever, and like the dialogue between her and her like henchman is kind of silly, like the TV show. But then like the rest of the action is like totally dead serious, like really well drawn stuff. It's very clean. Like I said when we were talking to Mad Cave, that's right, Mad Cave Comics.
Yeah.
When we were talking to them, when I was talking about clean artwork, like this is what I'm talking about. Like everything in this, like really defined, like clean looking, cool looking art.
And especially the Zords, to come up like Megazord has that look, because we know what Megazord looks like and what the Dinozords look like from the TV series. But to create this whole new Zord, the Grave Zord, I mean, just the level of detail you have in that, the different type of Zords you kind of see in there. Like I'm looking at this Zord, and I can see different, like, there's the White Tiger Zord is in there, and there's this the Dragon Zord that the Red Ranger had for a little while. I mean, just the amalgamation of different Zords that is in that, and the detail of it is spot on. And when you're trying to create this new character or something like that, getting that look is just fantastic. And like you said, yeah, the battles are great in this. I mean, it doesn't seem like what's going on. It's not like blurry or you can't get a sense of exactly what's happening.
Well, I mean, you got this whole scene in part of it with the when he takes her to see like his research wall of stuff,
right?
And then just when like the teen drama starts getting a little bit boring, like the very next thing is like a giant splash page of a robot crashing through the city. So it's there's not too much of that, and it's like during the whole part where they're trying to figure out how to get out of school because there's like a Power Ranger lockdown because of this robot, and the actual Power Rangers can't get out to go fight it. So they have to find a way to get out of the school. But like the very next thing is like then a huge battle in the city.
The other thing I really like is Zordon in this. That in the TV series, Zordon was like this floating, wavy, kind of chubby face guy.
He looks like Dr. Manhattan in this.
That's what I was gonna say. He looks like Dr. Manhattan. So Shattered Grid is really an interesting storyline. There's so many different intricacies and so many pieces at play that it's honestly a really awesome story, and Kyle Higgins is spearheading the main Power Rangers book. So he probably has a little bit of input on Go-Go just to hey, this is kind of like where the story is headed on the main series. You're doing the side stories. Here's a little bit of stuff. But Power Rangers, man, it's another one of those properties that went to comic book form and they're just killing it. They are killing it. They're making it relevant again, and it's fantastic. I enjoy it.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I mean, like I said, jumping in, we're jumping in. What number is this? 11 or something?
Number 10.
Number 10. Yeah, I'm jumping in at 10 issues just because I'm just checking out stuff as weekly as we're getting them. I'm checking them out, and but yeah, I mean the artwork is pretty fantastic. I've never been like a Power Rangers fan. Like I've never really watched the show, and I don't really know the characters that well. But I mean, I could see getting into the comic just based on the art and the action involved in it. But yeah, it's pretty good. I was pretty impressed with it actually. I was like, oh man, I thought it was gonna be kind of kiddie like the show.
Right.
But I was impressed with the level of writing on it. Like it's not like a for little kids type book. There's some kind of dark stuff in this.
Right. So, and then you got to October Faction? Or was that IDW? That was IDW.
Rocko's Modern Life is the other one. I read the.
How is that? I didn't read that one. How is that? I love the show.
It's not bad. It's pretty funny. It's a whole take on Rocko going overboard with on social media, which is kind of a current topical kind of thing.
Social media day. It's a very dangerous day.
I mean, the cartoon was always kind of topical with stuff that was like fads at the time.
Well, the cartoon also had so much adult stuff in there that as a kid it just went right over your head.
Yeah, and this is
like
definitely
Rocko working at a sex chat line. Oh baby, oh baby, oh baby.
Yeah, he does not work there in this. He's an ad guy, like an advertising pitch man.
Interesting, because he later on went and worked. His main job in the series was he worked at a comic book store.
He's working as the first part. It's kind of weird. I'm assuming this is an ongoing.
Yeah.
Because it ends in such a weird place. He's an ad guy, and he proposes the charming chicken. A charming chicken. I think it's for a fast food place, but. and the Toad guys hate it. So he gets one more chance.
I don't like it, Rocco. Yes, Rocco.
So his boss says he needs to get with social media and he needs to create a profile and all this because he works at Radvertising.
Red.
So he gets on social media and he starts getting obsessed with likes and favorites and stuff. And he notices like everybody's like on their phones everywhere, so he jumps in like fully, and he takes a picture of his dog, and his dog's Spunky, and it goes viral, and he gets a whole bunch of favorites and likes, so then he just gets obsessed with it, and then he ends up, because of his social media profile is huge, he ends up getting fired from the advertising job by the end of it. But they still own his image since he used their phone to create his profile. So they still own Rocco, and he still has to be like an image for the company. So they get him an image stylist, an image guru, and he ends up blowing it, of course. And then they end up taking this is the weird part. They end up taking Spunky the dog. And he goes off to become a star while Rocco gets his contract broken and gets fired from his job. It has nothing at the end, and they just take his dog away. And then the next part, it's I guess it's to be continued at the end here. I must have missed that. Then there's like a backup story with him and Hef going to get a couch at an IKEA. And it's pretty funny too. And it's like Hef's got to stop at everything and look at everything, and it takes forever. And then Rocco gets crushed by a hippo lady on a couch, and they get all the way home with the ripped off. It's supposed to be the couch, I guess. And there's just like one screw in the box, so they lost like all the pieces to the couch they just bought. But it's as funny as I guess as the cartoon used to be, from what I remember. But yeah, I mean it's definitely got some stuff in it I think that would go over a kid's head.
Right.
References to things, but yeah, it's not bad. In the backup, like the first part of, let me see who's let me get the credits on this real quick. Get up here. Let's see. Created by Joe Murray, written by Ryan Ferrier, illustrated by Ian McGinty, colors by Fred C. Streising, letters by Jim Campbell. Let's see. Trassig, I guess, is written and illustrated by Marie Inger. Covered by Jorge Monlongo, and the subscription cover by Derek Charm. Yeah, there's a backup in this that's this Trassig or Tracig, which is the IKEA story, but it's a different art style. It's pretty cool. It's like the first part of the main story is drawn more like the cartoon, like the show, like you remember it, and the way the panels are done, it's more definitely more like the TV show. And then the backup story is a little more stylized, they're a different style, a little like sketchier style. But yeah, it's all in all, it's pretty funny. I like the second story better actually. I thought the IKEA story was funnier. Because I like the character Hef because he's kind of a dick, and but yeah, I dig I kind of dig the book. I'm like I said, like my preference in books is a little different than some of the stuff that I review here. So I'm speaking totally as just an outsider grabbing a book and looking at it and saying this is what I think of it. But yeah, it's all in all, it's pretty good. I mean, it's pretty funny. Like if I was sitting around and this was like sitting on somebody's coffee table, I'd probably read it. Yeah. Not necessarily one I would go pick up off the shelf myself though. Because as you know, my tastes tend to run more like superheroes and like Conan and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it's if you dig Rocco, I think if you dig that cartoon, you probably dig the comic. What I should have probably said saved a lot of time, but pretty good.
All right, let's move on to IDW. Why don't you take us through October Faction?
All right, let me get it, pull it up here. All right, what did I do with it? I'm just wasting a lot of time.
That's all right.
So let's just run out the.
Let's run out the clock here.
Run out
you
the
know what?
clock
While you
here.
do that, I'm going to talk about Demi God #2. Demi God #2, Ominous Press. This is the second issue. So this is This is basically, the story's kind of classic. You got a wimpy guy who ends up getting superpowers. The major thing about this superpowered guru is he's a total narcissist. Just a total narcissist. Like most of the inner monologue is, how hot am I? I could bench press a Buick. Wait, do they still make Buicks? Well, if they do, I can bench press it. You know. So Ron Mars, of course, writing this one. The artwork's pretty interesting. It's kind of got that indie kind of feel to it in the book. But it's one I'm definitely going to have to get into and check it out, because it is a new superhero story. It's, see where it goes, because it is that classic, he's the wimpy guy, he ends up getting the superpowers, he's kind of a jerk. Now that he gets the superpowers, he's got this hot girl that he's trying to impress that never gave him the time of day. So it's really interesting. The character designs are pretty cool. I mean you're talking just like big muscles, just a big muscle book. So definitely one I would say check out. There's a character in here that it's kind of cool because he kind of reminds me of Metamorpho and Frisky Dingo mixed together.
Yeah.
So it's one definitely that I would take a look at. Like I said, the artwork is very indie kind of style, and for some reason I kind of dig that. It's kind of it's got this kind of like pulp indie.
Yeah.
So definitely a new series to check out. And the beginning and the end of the book are him doing like monologues, like hey, check me out. This was what happened in this issue. How cool am I? So
right
on. Andy Smith doing the artwork on the books. Definitely check this out. It's I'm gonna go back and get #1 so I can actually see how he gets the powers, but it seems pretty cool.
Yeah, this is getting ready to load up, but I'll go ahead and talk a little bit about this. This is the October Faction Supernatural Dreams by Steve Niles and Damian Worm. I always dig Steve Niles stuff, and especially Steve Niles, Damian Worm stuff.
Uh-huh.
I really dig Damian Worm's art on just about anything, and Steve Niles, I think, is one of the best horror comic writers around today. We were talking a little bit earlier about Monster and Madman. I thought was just an awesome little mini-series that actually ties into October Faction a little bit, the first October Faction series. But this is Supernatural Dreams #4, and this is the old monster hunter of this clan of monster hunters is retired. And this book is kind of the next generation of monster hunters in this world coming up. And this one starts off where the rest of this monster hunting clan is they're being attacked by the undead that are rising, which is, if you've never seen Damian Worm's artwork, this to me looks a little more straightforward comic booky than the more kind of eerie painted kind of style that he did for Monster and Madman.
Uh-huh.
But the premise of this is pretty cool. These people, they've got different powers and stuff, and they fight monsters basically. And it kind of reminds me a little bit. It's a little bit like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, because they like crew of like monster hunters. And this new evil is risen and is trying to get to the father, the patriarch of this family that's retired of these monster hunters, and so they're being distracted, I believe, to stay away from helping. And one of their old enemies tries to attack the old man at their house, and it turns out it's this guy, Goat Man. Have we talked about the Goat Man on the show before? But it's the Goat Man. He's like this demon. And he promised this family's old enemy eternal life if he would go and attack and kill this old man. But they managed to fight the guy off, the Goat Man, that is. And at the end of it, their house is kind of surrounded by ghouls and monsters, and the young generation team of monster hunters is on their way to help out here. But it's like I said, jumping in the middle of this series. I haven't read the first 3 issues of this, but I would say art-wise, I love it. I love Damian Worm's art style, and even though this seems a little more like the comic book style rather than his kind of creepier, kind of shadowy, kind of macabre kind of style. It's a cool book, and I need to go back and catch up on it. But yeah, I really dig the art, and like I said, Steve Niles is one of the best horror writers in comics going, and it's kind of, like I said, it's kind of reminiscent of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, maybe a little bit of like Night Stalkers, maybe like a little bit of Howl thrown in there.
Cool.
Howling Commandos, I should say.
And the other one you had was TMNT, correct?
Yeah, was it 83, I think? But that one's the continuation of the last one I talked about, where they're like all the animal pantheon of brothers of like you had like Baron Toad and like the Rat King and all these,
right,
and all that. And this one they go to see Manmoth, which is a big mammoth guy.
That's
mutant
right, yeah.
God, and they have a battle with him. He's a hunter, and he immediately just says run to the turtles, and then they're like, what the hell? And they're forced to run, and he hunts them for the first couple pages of the book until Michelangelo manages to like trip him up, and then he loves Michelangelo because Michelangelo bested him. So then he says Michelangelo is a true survivor. So then he agrees to sit down and talk with him, and they have their hunter's feast, and he's going to tell him about the Rat King and how to find him. Meanwhile, the Rat King is on a bridge, and he's got like a bunch of the children from the city he's going to lead to jump off a broken overpass bridge over the water.
Mm-hmm.
And so that finally they get through with Manmoth, and he shows them there's like a bunch of tunnels like in this mountain. He said the 5th tunnel will take you to wherever Rat King is, like dimensional gateways, I assume. And they'll take you wherever Rat King is, and they get there just as Rat King's about to drop a kid off this broken highway over the ocean. And so that's kind of where it ends. But I dig the Turtles comics, man. IDW does not disappoint with the Turtles, and both the series are pretty good. I think what's the other one called? It's
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Universe.
Yeah, that one. They're from what I could tell, they're kind of linked. They're kind of in continuity with each other. But I really dig the regular TMNT title, the number 83 that I just read, like the last couple issues. It's really cool, and it's not it's pretty serious, in depth. Like all the characters are like really well developed and in depth and stuff. And there's like a whole like all the like even like the cornier aspects of the cartoon show and stuff that they've incorporated are done really well and seem logical to the story, and it's a pretty good book. I dig it, and the artwork's really good. That's one thing I got to say for IDW and Boom is like the artwork is fantastic in some of the books they got coming out.
Right.
They got some really good art teams at both IDW and Boom.
All right, moving on to DC Comics. We've got quite a few to talk about here at DC. Let's start with Batman number 48. This begins the Best Man story arc. Of course, Tom King on the script, Mikhail Janin on arts and covers, June Chung on the colors, Clayton Cowles on letters. Joker is back.
Yeah, this is like
really. This is like really
dark.
Yeah, I mean, really, this is. I mean, other than we had Joker in the War of Jokes and Riddles, but that was a flashback story. So this is the first time we're getting present day Joker.
Yeah.
And he's at his best. Joker has completely killed almost everybody. Well, actually, he's killed everybody in
he
the
takes
church.
himself hostage.
He ends up taking himself hostage, which is great because that part, when that part came up, because Batman comes in and Joker's like, I need a hostage, so he points the gun at himself. It reminded me of Blazing Saddles.
There's a brutal murder. Once again, in a Batman book, the story opens up with a brutal murder. We had a suicide was one. Hal Jordan took himself out.
Yeah.
In the Booster Gold arc.
Yeah.
And now Joker brutally murders a woman in cold blood at her own wedding.
Yeah. And it's so interesting because Batman comes in, but he sees all these people dead. The Joker has killed all these people, but he still lets Joker monologue.
I'm saying this particular opening of this particular Batman story is as dark as anything Alan Moore ever wrote.
Definitely.
Easily.
And it's the Joker talking about, how he's glad that Batman's there, how he was trying to figure out how to get Batman's attention, and there's a part in here the Joker after the whole hostage thing. The Joker starts talking about his mom and things that his mom said, and of course he can't remember how he killed his mom. He comes up, he's like, "Wait, did I kill her that way? No, wait, maybe I killed her this way." But he has Batman kneel down and pray with him at the church.
Yeah, I thought that was a really weird thing between them. Like, why doesn't he just kicking the crap out of?
Well, like I said, half this book, the Joker's monologuing and Batman's not doing anything. But then Joker just looks at Batman and says, "Am I your best man?" And then he says, "Oh, I forgot. I put a bomb in the church."
Yeah, I put a bomb in the cross.
So really, this is they've been setting the Joker up. They have been setting the Joker up for this whole wedding thing, and really, once again, it's kind of one of those things where we're getting those prelude to the wedding books. And each one of them has like this thing at the end about the Joker. And it kind of seems like it almost seems like we should have seen all the Prelude books with what the Joker has done.
Well, he has been apparently ramping up through that with that book. If you want to move on to that book.
Yeah, let's move on to that book.
The Joker's been kind of ramping up all the villains. He's sent messages to Riddler.
Ra's al Ghul.
Ra's al Ghul. He has tipped off Ra's al Ghul to the wedding. He's told everybody that Batman is getting married, and so he's definitely planning on disrupting it somehow. But it's not only that. In the Prelude, there's also Hush.
Yes.
Wants to be Batman's best man. There's a reference to Hush wanting to be Batman's best man at his wedding. And so it's kind of like all these guys are going insane to be Batman's best man for some reason.
And this one is Batman Wedding Preview. It's Nightwing and Hush, with a special guest appearance by Superman.
Yeah.
Because they're doing Batman's, I guess, basically his bachelorette party, and it's Nightwing, Superman, and Batman in a limo with one of Superman's look-alike robots driving them in the limo, and they go to Bat Burger, which is the Batman-themed burger, and I just I really loved Superman's going, yeah, Bat Burger's not bad, but Super Burger in Metropolis is like way better than Bat Burger.
Yeah.
And apparently there's like a pocket universe inside the limo that Nightwing and Hush get sucked through into this pocket universe. But really, it's Hush.
Well, they actually mess it up somehow and end up somewhere else.
Because they were going to go to just this place that's only like this one universe that all it is, it's a small universe. All it is a lake where Superman, Batman, and Nightwing could just fish all they want.
Yeah.
And they end up taking it. They end up screwing it up, and Nightwing and Hush get stuck in this dark dimension. Uh, and Hush basically is like, why is he always the reason why he's after Nightwing? He's like, why is he always picking you instead of me? You know, he's like, I was his like best friend. You know, we did everything together, and it really, I think and Hush has changed his face again. I'm not going to give away whose face he changed it to, but he changed his face again,
drastically,
very drastically,
like in a weird, stalky, strange way.
It's so interesting with these Prelude books, you know, because they're honestly, Batman smiles so much in this book. It's like scary. It's like ominous to see Batman actually like smile as much as he does in this book.
And a little gun shy, since every bit of happiness Batman has had, it seems, for like the last 7 or 8 years, is just every time he seems like a little bit like his life is going to normalize to any degree, it just completely falls apart. Like whoever he's marrying gets killed. Like one of the boys turns evil or dies.
Yeah.
He can't be happy, so you never know. You know something's going to get screwed up with the wedding. There's no way it's going to come off without a hitch. But we heard that the plan is Bruce Wayne and Selina Kyle are not getting married. They're going to be married under the names Batman and Catwoman.
Yeah. So the next one we will get is going to be Batgirl and Riddler. Will be the next Prelude book that we're going to get. I mean, it's not a bad story. I mean, this is not a bad story. I mean, they're ramping up to the wedding. I do think Hush is a good villain that kind of should show up about the wedding. Him against Nightwing was, I mean, it was good because it did kind of set up, you know, like Bruce always preferred Dick over everybody else. You know, Dick was always the closest with Bruce. But not bad. Not bad. You got to Man of Steel #2. Why don't you go ahead? Tell us about Man of Steel #2 as I pull it up here.
Yeah, I really dig what Bendis is doing so far. Like I said, I worry a little bit about a weekly series that Bendis and him getting, you know, I'm sure this first arc is probably already, like I said, already plotted out and it's already done for the most part. But I mean, after I hope that this is like 6 issues, right? After these 6 issues of this, then he goes on to Action.
Yeah, I believe so.
And but I just hope he consistently keeps up this, you know, the quality of writing. But this one starts out with Lord Gandello going to see. I think he's going to see. Is it Ganthet? No, it's Appa Ali Apsa of the Guardians,
yeah.
And they're talking about the destruction of Krypton, and how it seems awful fishy that what was his name, was the one dude,
yeah, I'm looking for. Rogol Zar.
Yeah, that guy. It's awful fishy that guy had brought up destroying Krypton, and then a short time later, Krypton is destroyed through some natural means. Yeah, Rogol Zar. I just saw it too. But he wanted to cleanse Krypton, and then all of a sudden it just explodes for no reason. And they said, well, he tries to tell him that happens, and he's like, well, I control 42 star systems. That no, it doesn't happen. In fact, it never happens. So it leads me to believe that he really did have something to do with the destruction of Krypton, and I'm sure we'll get more into that. But he basically threatens this Lord Gandello and tells him, well, if he was able to do this, don't you think poking around in his business is kind of dangerous? And it kind of half-heartedly threatens him. But then we go to the Daily Planet, which is another thing that Bendis is doing. It's Clark Kent, reporter / Superman, back to that kind of thing, instead of him just, like, it's showing more of his daily life as a reporter as Clark Kent. And but immediately he's off fighting a giant robot, which is pretty cool. And I love Superman's personality too when he talks to the villains, because it's actually Toyman inside this giant robot. And but he's like, can you hear me in there? No. He's like, it's okay, I can wait. And he like just picks the robot up and flies it up out of the city, and just rips it open, and it's Toyman. And
no, it's the Toyman.
The Toyman.
It's like the Godfather, which leads
right.
to Green Lantern showing up.
Yeah, exactly. And but for some reason, Superman's being really cagey about where Lois Lane is, and he's avoiding people. It's implied that they were sucked away to different parts of the galaxy or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the part I was reading that, and I was like, what's going on here? Because all of a sudden, an ambush bug is like there for a second, and
yeah, he's like on some weird, he's at some weird alien casino, and there's a Rubik's cube.
Yeah,
it's Superman weirdness, which I dig it, but it was just really weird. I'm wondering if it's implied that because it looks like the Rogozar is there at this place, and he's having a drink, and that's where he finds out that there's still a Kryptonian alive, and that's why he's coming to Earth to get Superman.
And he's riding almost like Lobo's old cycle.
Yeah, it kind of does look like Lobo, that last panel. But no, the Clark gets sucked. Like the family gets hit with some kind of beam from an alien of some kind. It looks like, and Clark is sent to the moon. And then it's like there's like a bomb and a Rubik's Cube and some weird geometric shape. And I guess the ambush bug's juggling that stuff. I can't figure out why.
Squirrel.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Why is the squirrel, and why is Clark on the moon? And it implies like they got separated somehow, and he's trying to find them. I don't know, and that's why he's keeping his distance from everybody.
Just classic Superman craziness.
And yeah, just this weirdness of that one page is so weird. It's like him and Lois and Clark, or like him and Lois and Jonathan rather, are in their house, I assume, and all of a sudden this giant alien head comes in shooting lightning, and then there's a red beam, and Superman is on the moon. And then all of a sudden, Ambush Bug is juggling some stuff.
I don't know.
And there's an alien casino, and Rogol-Zar is in this thing, and hears that there's a Kryptonian on Earth. So that's where he heads to. And there's also, somebody's burning down Metropolis for some reason. There's all kinds of chaos and fires going on. And Clark Kent keeps trying to report on arson, and Perry White tells him that the Daily Planet's going to go under because they're not getting the circulation they need. And then this dude comes to Earth, and and it's to be continued next week in Man of Steel #3. But so far, I dig what Bendis is doing. It really does feel like an old school, old 80s Superman book, or it's the late 70s Superman type story. It's more. I think it's more grounded in what Superman is than the last couple series have been.
Right. All right. Now moving on. Justice League #1 comes out this week with Scott Snyder on the writing, Jim Chung on the pencils, Mark Morales on inks, Tamu Moret on colors, and Tom Napolitano on letters. This takes place after No Justice. We see the Hall of Justice. Finally, we see the Hall of Justice.
And not only that, later on we see something else that's awesome too.
So, the Justice League has come together after No Justice, formed the Justice League Council with Martian Manhunter as the chairman of the council. And he's able, wherever the Justice League is dealing with whatever's going on, he's able to link them all telepathically.
Yeah, so he is the link to all of the members.
So you get a lot of different teams in here. Like you get Green Arrow and Batman. You got Plastic Man and Flash. You got Wonder Woman and Swamp Thing, and they're all battling these Neanderthal tribes that have shown up everywhere from the
Yeah, that
ground.
have come out of the ground somehow.
Um,
Well, one thing I thought was kind of interesting, just before we even get to that part, is the intro. The first couple of pages are very reminiscent to me of Crisis on Infinite Earths. The way it shows the different 85,000 years from now, and then it shows like the Monitor, and then Commandy, and like Phantom Stranger and Ganthet, and like all these like Universal elders are watching this thing that's come out of the Universal wall.
Hourman is there.
Yeah, it shows all those guys like in the first couple pages, because they're all watching this when they crack the wall, the source wall, stuff is coming out of it, and this appears to be an intelligent being that is bringing some sort of preordained message back to Earth, and they don't know what it is. It's got a code that they don't know what it does. It could unlock bliss for everyone or destroy the entire world. They don't have any idea. So it's coming at them, and you see all these different panels of these different characters, and that really reminded me of Crisis. And then you also get the opening splash page, the Hall of Justice, where it talks about the Hall of Justice being made from this stone from space that absorbs light, and that's why the Hall of Justice glows or whatever at night. It always lights, and how they formed. And it was almost weirdly reminiscent of Stephen King writing, with how he introduced the book Black House, and it very weirdly reminded me of Stephen King writing, almost like horror Justice League.
Right.
And then it goes immediately into this weirdness of this stuff going on with these Neanderthals. I thought it was really a good start to the Justice League.
It really is, and just the things you get in there, like I said, Plastic Man's in there, Swamp Thing has a cameo. I mean, Hawk Girl, Hawkman, and
yeah, it's everybody, man. You get the
Adam Strange is there.
All the big ones, all the favorites. Aquaman.
All the favorites there. Mr. Terrific's there, and
we know it's Vandal Savage is behind it. They figure out it's Vandal Savage that's causing this thing. He's got these different tribes. And he's pulling Vandal Savage knows this thing is coming from the source wall, and there's and for some reason why did the Earth start to break apart and start to lift off the Earth? Because it was the thing in the moon, the core of the moon was somehow disrupting the gravity on Earth somehow.
So they had to destroy the moon.
Yeah, they had to destroy it, which. Holy shit, that was my favorite part. So, excuse me for swearing.
Martin Manhunter as the giant dragon?
The giant dragon, but the thing with Batman, that line with Batman where he's like, Bruce, I know you have tons of explosives hidden in the moon from all these different things. I'm going to need you to detonate all of those the moment of impact or whatever. And Bruce says, no, why would I ever? Why? I would never do anything like that. And he's like, Bruce, I need you to do this. And he's like, fine.
That was great.
Yeah, I do. I've been lying to all of you. I have an enormous amount of explosives in the moon.
Now, I think, the biggest thing of this issue, first of all, the whole issue is amazing. We find out that the universe only has a year left. Apparently, when they broke the source wall, something happened that the universe only has, a year of time left before it
and that reminded me a lot of the incursion that was coming all through Hickman's New Avengers and Avengers and up into Infinity and throughout Secret Wars. All of that was going on. They knew what kind of time they had before the builders were coming or whatever, and that too, which kind of reminiscent of that. I guess it's dissimilar enough that it doesn't turn me off from the idea of reading it. It's pretty cool. But I also thought recently also that the Celestial Brothers or whatever they were in No Justice were reminiscent of Celestials at Marvel too. So there's been some weird Marvel mirroring of stories and characters lately for some. Maybe it's just me.
Now the biggest thing about this issue, which both Chief and I were very excited for, is the resurgence of the Legion of Doom.
Yeah, and the Hall of Doom. Which, oh man, what an awesome
At
scene.
the Hall of Doom.
This is kind of a full circle dream for me, having been a huge fan of the original Super Friends cartoon and being alive while it was still being made and watching new episodes of Super Friends and growing up with that, and that being the only. Even then, I knew it was crap. Like it's entertaining to watch nostalgically, but it's crap. When you watch that cartoon, there's no there's very little to do with their comic book powers in a lot of scenes. It's just for kids to sell toys, and it's goofy to get ratings or whatever from kids on Saturday morning. But to finally get a cool version of the Super Friends now is kind of a cool idea, I think. And that's basically what this is. We get the Legion of Doom. And we get the Joker in the Legion of Doom, as was intended for the cartoon back in the day, but there was some sort of rights debacle that they couldn't get around to use the Joker
instead, right?
Yeah, and the Toy Man. I think that they created Toyman. Yeah, but there was a Toyman and this Toyman, I guess. But I think they created a new Toyman to be more like the Joker or something.
Right. So this Legion of Doom, of course, Lex Luthor is at the front of it, which he's still claiming he's a hero.
And he's got the green and purple power suit on instead of Superman armor, which was pretty awesome.
You get Sinestro, which Sinestro is back in his traditional blue uniform. Still with the yellow power ring, though. They do show he still has the yellow power ring. Gorilla Grodd, Black Manta, and Cheetah.
Yeah. And, oh, man. It looks like the setup. This is kind of a setup because, we know this thing is coming to Earth, and they're going to try to intercept it. Vandal Savage, I believe, his intention was to... I don't think he was going to use it, though. I think Vandal Savage knew it was coming, but he knew it was dangerous. And Luthor basically steps in and kills Vandal Savage and says, "Your hall here was designed by Luthor Industries or whatever, and I control everything in it. It's my ship now, basically."
Yeah.
And
so
really. Really good. Luthor just killing Vandal. So he has the only substance that can kill Vandal Savage, and he kills Vandal Savage with it.
Yeah.
And then you get. I love the Injustice Gang. How silly that! Like, you guys are part of my Injustice Gang, and Luthor's like, no, we need a Legion. Like we're more like a Legion at the end, and then you see like the Legion of Doom, like the Hall of Doom.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, this is a good setup for something cool.
Definitely. This is gonna be something great. To me it seems more like it's a Martian Manhunter story, which is fantastic.
Well, he has doubts. He's got we're seeing John Jones' doubt of being worthy of being the chairman of the Justice League.
Yeah. All right, so the last one you got to was what, the Unexpected?
Yeah, this is another one of those after metal, but I can't tell if it's after metal or not because the demon Hawk of the Forge is in this. The Hawkman, whatever it is, the demon, the Dragon of the Forge is in this. Let's see, it's the next. Oh, there it is. But yeah, it's another team book of new characters. But it's pretty good. Let's see, and I'm glad that they're creating new characters alongside the already established ones instead of like just replacing characters with new stuff that nobody wants. But yeah, there's let's see, I'm trying to get back to it.
Yeah, I've got it pulled up here. So of course, New Age of Heroes: The Unexpected.
This one starts out with Firebrand. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was starting off with the Demon Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yeah, this guy. It's it starts out with Firebrand as fighting Killer Croc, and Firebrand has some sort of the way her power works is she has to fight somebody every day, or she'll die. Basically, she's got to she has to aggressively fight a monster or something, fight crime like every day, or she'll die. And but she also works at a hospital, and she goes in the hospital to work, and she runs into this character Alden Quinch, the Bad Samaritan.
Who's the one I said looks like a demon Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of a mix of Lobo and Randy Savage with snake eyes.
Yeah.
But he wants her heart because it has some kind of like forge or whatever in her heart. So that's where the origin of her. And I'm trying to find the page where she kind of lays out what her powers are and stuff. But she's fighting this dude, and then all of a sudden the unexpected happens.
Dun dun dun.
And I guess this is a new team, but a couple of them die in this, like right away at the beginning of the first issue.
Right.
But this guy Neon comes to fight Alden Quinch and to save Firebrand, and he does something where he manages to kill everybody, but Firebrand survives it, and he's wondering how she survived it. And also, this Alden Quinch guy is working for some higher evil power that he's trying to retrieve this heart from this girl. And then he created accidentally by cutting this guy in half, this Neon guy, who instantly survives being cut in half. He creates some new element with some new nth metal offshoot element, a new metal, and this Overlord guy's trying to get it. He's let's see, what's his name? Not just your god, but the devil himself. Onimar Sin. So so now I guess with they're on the hunt for this Alden Quinch guy because he's got this new nth metal element that's like highly volatile, and it could explode and create a lot of damage. But then it makes it shows the
Hawkman of the
Carter
Forge.
Hall, Hawkman of the Demon of the Forge, and says that if this world is broken beyond healing, if this universe dies, you'd hate to see where it'll be buried. And it shows the Hawkman, the big hawk demon, dragon of the Forge guy. So it makes me wonder, like,
what's going on? Yeah,
is this pre-end of metal or what? I was a little confused at that.
Yeah,
but I mean, ambitious to start a new team book and then kill like two of the guys on the team.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's kind of setting everything up and telling you who Firebrand is and like why this guy wants her and what this element is. Kind of setting things up as a first issue.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, it's going to take like another couple issues for me to see whether I really dig it or not. But
right.
I mean, this wasn't bad. The artwork's pretty cool. I like the alternate covers in the beginning. I especially like the big Hawkman demon cover in the front.
Right. So if you had to pick, what is your pick of the week?
I would have to say, out of all the ones that I would go with Batman 48 this week, just because I think that's honestly as dark as Frank Miller or Alan Moore ever took the character, and just in one single issue, and just the weird dark way that he's been opening up some of the last couple of arcs have been nuts, and it just seems like it just passes like it's just another thing that happens to it. It's not like that's not the focus even. It's just this really dark thing happens in the beginnings of these stories, but that's not even the focus. Like Hal Jordan, there's like what, I don't know, maybe 10 panels of what happens there, and he blows his own brains out with his ring and kills himself just right in the beginning of the book. And then the Joker kills an entire wedding party full of people and shoots a woman in the head right in front of Batman. And it's like, but that's not the focus of the story. It's I don't know, it's really weird, but Tom King's making me think lately with Batman, so I got to give it to Tom King and Batman this week.
I got to go with Justice League because I think it's setting up something huge for the entire DC universe. You know, letting us know there's only a year left of the universe to live. The creation of the Legion of Doom, Martian Manhunter. I just feel there's so much that book is gonna have so much ramifications for the DC universe in the long run. I've got to give it to Justice League this week.
Yeah, that would definitely be my runner-up if I was going to pick one.
Yeah.
I definitely think so. I really dug Justice League. I just thought that, for one thing, the return of the Joker in Batman was kind of a big deal for me to see the Joker again after a while. And it was just such a weird, dark Joker, too. Like, he's such a strange... it's just a really weird thing for just in a single issue of Batman for that to be that just brutal.
All right. Well, we want to thank you all for joining us this week for Renegade Reviews. Come back every week. We'll be talking about comic books and what we've been reading. Make sure you get out to your comic book store, show them some love, pick up some books, and have fun reading. Of course, Renegade Reviews every single week is on Podbean, Stitcher, Player FM, Google+, and iTunes. And we will see you back here next week for more reviews.
Good night, everybody.
Nerd Rage Renegades.